Alrighty, we have returned to the deep Amazon to get the last of the mini-cons here before we set off back to the Mid-Atlantic to finish that level. There's one mini-con I want to get up here now that I have Slipstream. There's another one we'll get later on that I'm never really going to use, so again, I mainly want to get the ones early in the game that I'm actually going to be using, but this one I actually won't be using. I'll just be demonstrating it for now because it's close to the beginning of the level. I figured I could just squeeze this in here. His shield wall, he has a ballistic shield which will block melee attacks and grenades and other and rockets from heavy units and that sort of thing, but it will not block things that you'll actually be likely to be hit by, which is so you can dodge melee attacks and that and explosives, but you can't dodge. It's much harder to dodge smaller projectiles and laser blasts and that sort of thing. So that's why I think Deflector is much more useful. So anyway, we edit our way back into the I almost said Pacific Island. No, the Mid-Atlantic here, and I've got Firefight as our primary weapon and Air Burst as our secondary. And despite the fact that Firefight is our most powerful primary weapon in the game we have right now, I'm going to be proving that it's not quite as useful as I would like it to be right about now. We have Air Burst for these jet troopers, because we can just blow them right out of the air. And if I didn't explain the science behind this before, it's because it's actually not the blast that kills them, it is the fall they take when they hit the ground that kills them. So they are not being shot to death, they are being gravitied to death. So that is awesome. And I believe I demonstrated it when we first picked it up. So I'm working my way back over to the ginormous aircraft carrier base we have to infiltrate now. Unfortunately, like I said, despite the fact that Firefight is the most powerful primary weapon we have right now, the regular shots, the non-charged shots that it fires, which actually gives this thing a remarkable resemblance to Samus's arm cannon from Metroid Prime, with the whole yellow projectiles and they bounce off of things and they have a charged version and that sort of thing. If I don't need to explain the similarities even further. But the problem is, against these guys that have shields now, it's practically useless. Like, they all just bounce off, and it's just so hard to hit them unless you charge it up and hit them at their feet with the splash damage. So I'm just gonna walk away from that encounter before I get myself killed, because this thing is, while good in general, it's useless against those guys in particular. The whole combo with Spark Jump and Watchdog was much more effective. But unfortunately, we discarded that combo for what we have now. Fair trade, because my main concern about getting over here was the jet troopers, and we've dealt with them quite easily so far. I came over here with one setup, and there was like the whole level's worth of jet troopers surrounding me over here, and I couldn't do anything about it because I didn't have frickin' air burst, but now I do. Now we have to climb our way around this silly rock and get up to the save point up there. And we will board the giant aircraft carrier of death that is still firing ordnance at us.
Sir, please acknowledge. Affirmative.
So what one person would be crazy enough to board an entire aircraft carrier completely fortified and completely ready for any possible invasion from another opposing army, but we're going to single-handedly take them all down all by ourselves? That one person is Optimus Prime, ladies and gentlemen. Because who else would be that stupid to attempt something like this? Alright, so we're going to adjust our setup again real quick here. The only thing I'm changing is my secondary. I'm going into Slapshot, the grenade launcher again, because I don't really wish to have... once we get inside the stronghold of the, aircraft carrier, I'm not going to be needing air burst anymore because I'm going to be fighting lots of larger enemies indoors, such as a new enemy that I've not introduced yet. And there are going to be a few of these jet troopers before we get inside here, but there's not going to be enough of them to warrant the change, because I can just kind of ignore those guys. Oh look, a ton of light units, let's blow them all away and physics them into the air. And then we will scream it's raining men, because it is. Yeah, these light units are pretty much a joke at this point. They only come up to about our knee. We can just blow them away with ease. You know, this is where Firefight really shines through. As you can see, it just decimates these guys. But again, because all weapons in this game have unlimited ammo, no one weapon is really made to be that overpowered, it seems like. No primary weapon, at least, is that overpowered where it can just annihilate any and every enemy in the game. That's just because it has to be balanced and because everything has limited ammo. So again, it really makes us feel like an older, really old school game, almost like a Mega Man game, sort of, with the way that the weapons and the enemies behave. But as you can see now, I'm trying to find these jet troopers without airburst, and it's damn nearly impossible. It is a miserable experience, and no one should ever have to suffer through it again. So I'm going to suffer through it so you guys don't have to, and you'll see how futile this effort is to destroy them. It's completely in vain. So eventually I'm just going to decide to give up. They actually drop quite a fair bit of health, and they seem to become more agile as they get weaker, though. So, yeah, the whole thing is just nonsense, and just don't even attempt it. Of course, I've got Deflector going right now to block their shots, so I'm just kind of having a endless pissing match with them at the moment. There we go, there's one that killed. Or one that was killed, rather. I cannot word tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I think I might actually be able to get this guy too. Thing is, we have to kill these enemies to get the bay door to come up to where we can actually board the thing properly. Otherwise, we'll just be stuck out here on the landing deck, like, huh? How do I disable this thing? It doesn't make any sense. Ugh. And then we get 6 more light units that we can just, you know, run over in our truck mode. Beep beep. Oh, that's hysterical. I love doing that. Okay, so I guess we didn't have to kill that last guy after all, and we're just gonna say, we're just gonna give him the middle finger and go down here. And then there is every single light unit that will ever be in the entire game down here. And we're just gonna blow them all away with Slapshot again. And then I'll demonstrate how Firefight can actually be good with the charge shot, and it's going to kill like 20 guys with one shot. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Keep in mind, we still need Slipstream to get down here, pretty much. I don't think you can make it by transform jumping unless you're like Hotshot or something like that. But we probably could not make it as Optimus Prime, as far as I know. But there's really no reason I want to change my, unless I wanted to have Safeguard, because we still have a yellow minicon team going on, so I really wouldn't want to change out anyway. But now that we arrived up there, you know, I'm an idiot. I'm a complete idiot. I could have just kept on Airburst until we got inside here and then swapped out Airburst for Slapshot when we got inside, instead of having to suffer. I should have, yeah, because I didn't want to edit out those fights with the jet troopers, so I should have just blew them out of the air with that instead. But that is the LP curse, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you start recording and then everything goes wrong. Luckily, Firefight is powerful enough to actually break the shields on these guys right here, but again, it's just so impractical. Actually, could it break their shields? Because it usually just bounces off. Speaking of bouncing, this guy is being physicsed around in all kind of manner of ways. There are 2 of these little identical outlooks over here on either side of the ship, and we can go up either elevator to get up here on this level where there's going to be more enemies. Guess what? These are going to be some of the, this is probably the closest, most close quarters encounter we have in the game, other than when we're in the Aztec Temple thing at the beginning of, at the end of Deep Amazon. So that's why Slapshot is going to be really good for this, as it was in that level as well. Also, the splash damage from Firefight being fully charged is also going to be ridiculously good. Wow! Oh, I just love ragdoll physics so much. Oh crap, it's these guys again. It's the stupid commando gorilla things. And he is going to be physics as well. And that's another reason why Slapshot is so good, because not all secondary weapons, I mean, there are secondary weapons we have that are more powerful than Slapshot, I think. But the fact that I can keep him juggled in the air where he's not using his stupid EMP blast on us is all the better for us. Yeah, I gotta remember to keep my distance when I'm using this thing, because they can bounce all over the place and come back and hit us, and all manner of craziness. So out here I want to be extra careful, because I'm pretty sure there are some more jet troopers out here, and I want to be very cautious of them. Yeah, there they are. I'm just going to tell them to go do one and then move on. Oh, that was cheap. He just kind of appeared through the floor there. But whatever, sacrifices must be made. Luckily, I get up first. Again, it feels like Firefight should be more powerful than it is, but it is reasonably powerful. It just doesn't feel like it should be as. It doesn't feel like it is as powerful as it should be, considering how slow a rate of fire it has. The actual grenade models themselves from Slapshot look really silly. I don't know if you can see them. They look like a little mini atom bomb type thing, and I just blew a spark plug there. And I'm about to blow myself away if I'm not careful. So, while I have some time to discuss this, I wanted to ask you guys what your opinion is on this, because they recently just announced, apparently they confirmed the existence of a Transformers 4 coming out, the Michael Bay's Transformers 4. And it's going to be called Age of Extinction, I guess, which is a much better title than that stupid Dark of the Moon crap. And hopefully it will be a much better movie than that stupid Dark of the Moon crap, because while I am pretty forgiving of the first two movies, even the total piece of nonsense that was Revenge of the Fallen, I still can be amused by that movie at times. I completely hated Dark of the Moon, and will not defend that movie in the slightest, aside from one scene, and you guys already know what that is. So going forward, I do not really care if they make more movies about that or not. I'm content with everything that already exists in the Transformers fandom. I really don't need them to make anything more. Now, I've not been really watching Transformers Prime. I really just am content with everything that's been established. I don't really care about where it's going from here. Maybe that's just me being a jaded old school fan that doesn't really care where the franchise is going from now, because everything that the original will always be the best kind of mentality. But let me know what you guys think about the idea of Age of Extinction. I have no idea what it's going to be about or when it's coming out. There's not a trailer for it yet. I know nothing about it, and I just hope that if it is another Michael Bay's Transformers movie, that he's at least taken some of the criticism of the previous movies seriously and actually makes it presentable and watchable. And the more, but again, to me, the things that make those movies enjoyable are the things that are Transformers references that the fans will understand. Like, the references in Revenge of the Fallen are the only thing that kept that movie passable for me, like the whole Starscream and Megatron's interaction was very G1, with Starscream sucking up to him and that sort of thing. And then the whole Optimus Prime dying thing, and then the whole Optimus power linking with Jetfire was very Armada, which I very much liked. So now we're going to come up against a new enemy type here. This guy is a commander. He is a very dangerous enemy. He has a... I should be able to kill him before he does any real damage to me, but this can be a pretty dangerous encounter because of him, especially at these close quarters. He's got a melee sword that he uses on us, which can send us flying miles backwards. And he has a rocket launcher on his arm, which doesn't really do that much damage. And he can also he can give orders to medium units. He can have them make formations. He can direct them to locations. It's really quite a brilliant design. If you watch the way the AI behaves with this guy, he's really quite impressive. on the way he can direct the medium units around. It's nothing completely groundbreaking. Oh, I just got physics right in the ceiling. But it's its own deadly force nonetheless. Yeah, we killed him before he even came out of that elevator there, just by spamming the elevator with slapshot grenades. So we're done with that pretty much. We're almost to the end of the level, thankfully. I say we're almost to the end of the level, and yet there's a whole nother video that's going to take place in this level. And some of you already know why.
Sir, I have established a remote connection to the warship's navigation systems and analyzed the data. Its final destination is Alaska. That must be the location of
Alright, looks like it's time to go and shut this thing down.
this vessel.
Huh. Alaska must be Megatron's base then. That's where we should go next.